For those who are not from around here, welcome to Legislative District 26, Northwest Pima County, Oro Valley, Marana, Catalina Foothills, Casas Adobas, Flowing Wells. Both Frank Antonori and I were elected in 2008. We were sworn in 2009, and we hit the state capitol in that year, January of 2009. We had about a $3.3 to $3.5 billion budget shortfall. Well, 36 months later, we have a balanced budget with a surplus in the state of Arizona. We immediately got up there and started taking decisive action. Reduced spending permanently by $2.5 billion. There was a temporary sales tax that came in for about $800 million, and then it started going away in about a year and a half. Now this year we're going to have about between $100 million and $175 million surplus at the state. And so we have a lot of people that are coming back to us right now and saying, hey, can we have a little more money? Almost every single agency is coming out and saying, well, I have this $5 million program, I have this $10 million program. But I got to tell you folks, right now this is not the time to expand government at a state level, even though we have a surplus, and I'll tell you why. Because one thing that you don't hear a lot about is that over the last 10 years, the state of Arizona has accrued $6.5 billion in debt. As well, we've swept about $1.4 billion from our highway funds. And then, as I said, we're going to lose about $800 to $900 million in our sales tax referendum. And our rainy day fund, by state constitution, can be up to $800 million, is completely depleted. So hopefully next year, as we go through the next budget, we'll have a $400 or $500 million surplus. And when we get to the 2014 fiscal year and we lose that $800 million in the sales tax referendum, that the cuts that we'll have to make will only be a couple, $300 million, because we'll have surpluses of $500, $600, $700 million at that time. So it's key that we don't expand our government spending right now and keep moving forward from there. So in essence, just like the federal government, one of the biggest issues that is facing our state is debt. And this debt has the potential, if we don't address it in the next 5 to 10 years, that we'll have generational debt. I have a 10-year-old son, and the last thing that I want to see him get from us, the taxpayers and the citizens of the state, is generational debt that he'll have to contend with himself. So,
how much is the debt? Well,
it's all sorts of, let me explain a little something about the debt. It's in all these different kind of funky measures, okay? About $6.5 billion. It's from selling our state capital and leasing it back, from doing rollovers, and a tremendous amount of it, say, gimmicks. Because if you read our Arizona state constitution, it says that our budget has to be balanced within $350,000.
$250.
I mean, it's nominal.
$250K back either way. That's our window.
It's a variance. And we're not allowed to have debt, but somehow, and this is typical of government, at state, at federal, and at local levels, where government learns how to manipulate the system. And let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Now, I chair transportation for the House of Representatives. And so obviously looking at transportation dollars and transportation funding is key to me. That's my area of expertise and that's my job. I'm going to talk about what we've done going all the way back to the Hall administration through the Napolitano administration, and it's still currently going on to help balance our budget. We sweep anywhere from maybe $50 million a year out of our highway funds out as much as $300 million a year. So when you go pay taxes at the gas pump, you pay 18 cents goes into a gallon of gas to pay for highway. When you do, I'll give it in a moment. When you do your vehicle license tax, that goes into manage our highway funds. Well, what we've done in the state over the last 12 or 13 years, as that $1.2 billion goes into our highway fund, before it goes in there, we'll siphon off some money to help pay for our DPS. And DPS was supposed to be paid through our general fund. Our general fund pays for our education, health and human services. It pays for our Department of Corrections and a judicial system, and as well as DPS. But what we've done, we found a way, well, not we, because the current legislature has been working against this effort, is that the past legislatures have found ways to manipulate the Constitution, take highway dollars to fund our police, our state police. And so what it does, it had allowed the Napolitano administration to spend more of their general fund dollars on education. And until we get accountable with what we're doing on our tax dollars, so when our tax dollars go into a bucket of money to pay for our highways, and then we siphon them out, I think it loses the credibility of the average voter, the average citizen, the taxpayer in the state. And I think that that is the level of accountability that we all need to be striving for, and we're getting close to that at a state level. So that's kind of what's going on with some of that tax things.